Hello everyone and welcome back to Sparrows and Business Diaries. I thought I would bring you a mid-year income report just so you guys can see all the different places that I'm making money from, and so that I can check in on how I'm doing and so that you guys can check in on how I'm doing, and so I have a much clearer picture about what it is that I need to achieve in the remaining 5 months of the year. So I'm recording this towards the end of July. I've taken my figures from about mid-July, which I know is slightly over the halfway mark, so it's a fairly good representation of what I've earned in half a year. Now, there are a couple of things for you to kind of know about and think about before we take a look at the numbers. The first one is I'm not expecting to have earned 50% of my target halfway through the year, or 50% of the way through the year, because remember, an awful lot of my income will come during Q4. Pretty much, I think every business, every income stream that I have, apart from one, takes off during Q4. So if I do happen to be at 50%, then that's pretty fantastic, because it means I'll definitely smash the target that I've set for myself. But if my actual amount is a lot less than 50%, then there's no need for any of us to panic, really, because like I said, things will definitely increase during October, November and December. The other thing I would like you to bear in mind is that I don't actually need a huge amount of money to cover all of my basic expenses over the course of the year. I have got a video about this. I'm not sure what playlist it's in, but it is about how much money I actually need to make online. And in order to cover my pretty low expenses, I need £750 a month, which is probably going to be around, I don't know, $850, something like that. And then over the course of the year, that adds up to about £9,000, and that probably converts to around $11,000. So I don't have to earn a huge amount for me to be able to work from home and build my online income. And actually, there's one more thing. Let me share with you my income target for 2023. So my 2023 online income target is £12,800. That's $16,421. This is the breakdown of where I'm expecting to get it from. With my reselling, I have a target of £8,000 profit per year. For pretty much everything else, so YouTube, the exam work that I do, Amazon KDP, and then I've combined together, I've got lots of little like bitty miscellaneous tiny little income streams that at the moment I've kind of lumped together and decided that if between all of them I can get to about £1,200 for the year, that would be fantastic. And then I can look at sort of splitting them off and setting separate targets for them next year. So that's what we've got target wise. Now let's see how I've actually done with each of those individual income streams. Let's start with reselling. So reselling so far is £3,325.15, and that works out at about $4,266. Now again, bearing in mind that we're not halfway through the year and I'm not that far off halfway towards the amount of money that I want to make from it, it's not too bad. I was kind of hoping it would be more like 3,500, so it's what, a couple of £100 off where I would have hoped it would be, but it's okay. And actually it's a reflection of having really neglected it lately. I've let my listing numbers drop right down, which I know not to do. I know that when I put fresh listings onto eBay mainly, and on Etsy as well, it kind of gives things a boost. But I think another thing that's happened as well is that I've been decluttering a lot of my personal stuff. So I have felt like I've been going through the process of reselling. I've been photographing things, I've been listing things, but actually it's been on my personal accounts, and it's been like perhaps taking up some of my reselling time because I tend to squeeze it in with my reselling work. Plus I've had the exam work recently as well, which means that the reselling has definitely been neglected. So what do I intend to do to make sure that I hit my target during the rest of the year? I basically need to increase my listing numbers. I need to make sure that across all of the platforms that I use, that I have got about 800 things listed, and at the moment I'm on a combined total of, I think it's about 400 or just slightly over 400. So I need to double my listings, and I kind of need to do that in the next 6 weeks. So if you are into my work from home vlogs, you will probably see some of that happening during those. YouTube, we'll have a look at YouTube next. YouTube is terrible. YouTube is nowhere near where I want it to be. So I've got this target of £1,200. I got monetized partway through February of this year, and so far I have made £280.24, which is about $360. And considering what my channel is capable of earning, it's pretty poor. It's really poor. I mean, I've been blessed with a fairly high like CPM and RPM, and I have I have like a really good chunk of like really loyal, thank you very much, wonderful returning audience members, people that, you know, will kind of watch most of the stuff that I put out, including, you know, little vlogs, little chit chats, all kinds of things. I have a phenomenal group of people out there watching my videos, and I again have completely neglected it lately. And actually all year I have struggled to get into a routine, and I've struggled a lot to sort of know what it is that I'm aiming for with the channel. But something that's happened recently is I've just decided kind of, or not decided, I've realized what my channel is about. And it is, you'll see that I've had a name change recently to Sparrows and Business Diaries, because I really want to convey that it's not a tutorials channel. There might be the occasional tutorial that crops up and a few how-tos here and there, but mostly it's about sharing my experiences and my journey, if we're going to call it that, with creative online income. So with that clarification, I feel sure that I'm going to be able to start putting out more videos, and these are the things that I'm going to do to try. I don't even know if it's possible to hit that target this year, but I'm going to try. So at least 4 videos per month, 1 per week would be ideal. Maybe some bonus ones if there's time. I also need to add more affiliate links and talk about them and show me using programs that I'm kind of using to build this online income. I need to show those more, because I got my first like click on an affiliate program, and I've got my first little bit of affiliate income coming in, which incidentally I haven't included on here. It's not very much, it's like $2 or $3 I think, and I haven't included it yet. But anyway, I need to do that more in order to kind of get to that £1,200 a year from YouTube. The next one is an income stream that I always refer to as exam work, because if you're not in the teaching profession, it can be quite difficult to explain exactly what it is that I do. But I work for one of the biggest exam board in the UK, and I do work around marking and moderating examinations and things like that. And I set myself a target of £1,200 for that this year. I wasn't sure whether I was going to be able to achieve that, but luckily I had a much bigger workload than I had got in previous years. So I was able to reach my target and slightly surpass it with £1,251.62. And I have also got, I took on a little bit of additional work at the end, and that should be, I think it's worth about £100 or so, maybe slightly over. That is still to come, so that's probably going to go up to about $1,350, something like that. And that works out to $1,606. So that's all fine, that's all done and dusted as well. That work has been done, ticked the box, hit the target, fantastic. But what I have noted down is that next year there is an opportunity for me to do a slightly different type of work for them on top of the work that I already do. I need to have a little think about whether that's going to be manageable or not, because I find it quite intense, the work that I have to do for them. But there is a possibility that I might take on some extra, and so I could be looking at about £2,000, probably like $2,300, $2,400 next year as like a little increase to it. But that is all done and dusted. Now, Amazon KDP. So far this year, I have earned £424.27, which is about $545. Now, what's interesting about this is that it's actually quite good. I mean, it's not compared to what other people earn, but in terms of what I earned last year, in the whole of last year, I earned £440. And we're partway through, we're 6.5 months in, is that right? Yeah, 6.5 months in, and I've already made 424. So I've kind of well, by the end of this month, I am predicting, so by the end of July, 7 months, I will have earned what I earned in 12 months last year. And I think this is what you have to remember about passive income and passive online income, or just online income in general, with a lot of things like KDP and like Redbubble, which we're going to come to in a minute. You put stuff on there and it stays on there, and you walk away, and sometimes you don't even have to do that much, and it starts to pick up and grow and grow and grow. And that's definitely happening on a very, very small scale. I appreciate that my KDP earnings are not amazing, but we're getting there. We're getting somewhere with that. And so it's over like a 100% like increase on where I was this time last year. So that should mean, even without the Q4 effect, that I'll get to £1,000 this year. And with the Q4 effect, with the kind of the uptick in sales over Q4, I can really see myself hitting that £1,200 target, that £100 a month that I'm sort of looking for. So I'm pretty chuffed. And like doing this exercise and actually checking in with where I've got to against the target that I set for myself, because basically at the start of the year, I was at this point of, like, I have to be able to make enough money doing this, otherwise I can't justify, you know, not going back out into the world of sort of work pay as you earn work. And so yeah, I have to be making enough money. My final sort of category is one where I have lumped in Redbubble, Society6, like a tiny bit of dabbling in digital products on Etsy. All of that stuff is kind of all in one kind of category at the moment, because it's all very pathetic, it's all very low. So my target for all of that is the £1,200, like $1,500, and this is where we have got to. So in total I've made £198.56, which is about $255. So we are way off target. However, in terms of Redbubble, I've kind of compared, right, the same thing has happened with Redbubble as has happened with KDP, in that in like 2 or 3 weeks probably I will have earned the same amount of money that I earned in the whole of last year. So there's been a kind of an increase, quite a big increase, although the numbers are quite small, but percentage wise there's a big increase on how I was doing last year. So I think that even if I don't do anything, I think Redbubble's probably on track to get to about £350, maybe 400, something like that. And one of the things that I started doing at the beginning of this year is like duplicating my most successful shop on Redbubble onto Society6. I put one listing on at the beginning of this year at some point, and it sold a couple of times recently. And I mean, it's made... what did it make? Have I written it down? I think it was something like $5 or $6, and it was a bit of a kick up the backside in a, you've got these designs already and you kind of got some of them on KDP notebooks, you've kind of got some of them on, well, I think I've got all of them on Redbubble. Like, finish the job, put all of those designs onto Society6 as well. If you're not sure what those two websites are, then like go and take a look at them. They're print on demand marketplaces, and you just upload your design and hopefully it sells, and then you make a royalty, like a margin, a percentage of the sale. Losing the ability to speak and think. So that's one of the things that I have started doing, just kind of in my spare time. I don't think it's the most lucrative use of my time, but of an evening. So it's work that doesn't require a lot of thought, because I've already got the graphics and I'm just taking them, I'm kind of resizing them to fit the Society6 products. A lot of downloading, uploading and things like that. And I find that I can do that kind of in front of the TV in the evening or something, when I don't have to concentrate on it very much at all. So I started doing that, and I want to get that finished in time for Q4. I've got, I think it's about 50 to 60 designs something in that region. I need to double check. And I want to make sure that all of those designs are on KDP notebooks and that all of those designs are on Society 6 as well as Redbubble. As well as doing all of that, I can very easily come up with some more designs as well. So I can increase the number of designs, I can make sure they're on all platforms. And then also, in terms of building a brand, I can look at ways of growing an email list with it. I can also use Pinterest marketing, possibly an Instagram account, that type of thing, just to kind of build and grow that particular brand name. And then with the Etsy digital products, I just need to work harder. I need to pull my finger out and I need to get some listings on there. I think I have about 3 or 4 shops that I've started and then wandered away from, because that's what I do sometimes. And each one has got something like 5 or 6 listings on it. So every now and again, one of them pops off on one or other of the shops. It needs to just sink in that actually, do you know what? If that's happening with 5 or 6 listings, what will happen if you've got 20 listings? What will happen if you've got 50 listings? What will happen if you've got 100 listings? What might happen if you have 1,000 listings on each of those shops? Could you actually pay all of your bills from passive income? I mean, it's a distinct possibility for me, it really is. So with the Etsy shops, it's just going to be a question of adding more listings and yeah, just doing the work. Nothing magic about it whatsoever. I just need to work a little bit harder on those things. And that brings me to my grand total for the year so far, which is £5,480.61. And that is $7,031, which puts me 43% of the way towards my target, which I think is pretty good. If you remember what I said right at the beginning, you have to kind of hold the thought that actually the majority of things that I do earn me more in the second half of the year than they do in the first half. So I'm predicting my online income could be over my target of £12,800, and I think it could be more like maybe 1350, maybe 14,000. I don't know, fingers crossed it is. Now I'm really pleased with how things are going. It feels like I'm building a really kind of varied and diverse foundation, and that I am gradually building things up, particularly the passive income. And so I've had a little bit of a think, not a major plan, but a bit of a think in terms of where I would like my income to go next year and the year after. And I really like the idea of setting myself the challenge of trying to double my income next year, kind of roughly, and get it to about £24,000, which I think is about $31,000. And then the following year, do something similar and maybe aim for $48,000 or $61,000. I'm not entirely sure what's possible. Well, I guess it's all possible, isn't it? But I'm not quite sure what's possible for me. And also I've got to really think about the reasons why I'm doing this. I'm doing this so that I get to live a very different kind of lifestyle from the one that I did when I was a head of faculty in a busy comprehensive school, a job and work that I absolutely loved for a period of time, but I'm now really enjoying just living life differently, even if that's only temporary and I end up going back into my profession at some point in the future. Who knows? At the moment though, I am feeling pretty buoyant and certainly really pleased that I'm making some progress towards stabilizing my income. So let me know in the comments which of my income streams you are most interested in and would like to know a little bit more about. Also let me know, how is your year going so far income wise? You don't have to share any figures with me unless you want to, but let me know, do you sit down and kind of calculate these things? Have you got a target for the year? What kind of target is appropriate for you? Share with me whatever you feel comfortable sharing, and I will meet you in the comments for a little chat. And if the type of thing that I've been talking about in this income report is interesting to you, then make sure you are subscribed, and I will see you again very soon.